Good afternoon, I'm John Webb. Straight ahead here on Channel 3 News at 6 tonight. The healing process for many folks in eastern Washington is now underway, but tonight new threats in Washington, Montana, and Idaho. One threat made here in the Silver Valley. Plus a standoff in Pinehurst after a man threatens to shoot several subjects. We'll tell you what happened. Also, the Mountain Valley Care and Rehabilitation Center in Kellogg was just purchased by an Idaho company. Morgan Powers will have more on that later tonight. And Destiny, give a look at the Sunday forecast.
As you can see, temperatures are dropping and you can see snow spotted on Silver Mountain. And it's supposed to be dry later this week.
Alright, Destiny, thanks very much. Those stories, plus a full weather update ahead at 6.
Reporting you can trust with John Webb, Megan Dorton, Morgan Powers, and weather with Destiny Angle. This is the 6 o'clock news on Channel 3 TV.
Good evening and thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm John Webb. Well, after the school shooting that rocked eastern Washington, a snowball effect rocked western Montana, closing 25 school districts after a cyber threat. Then on Monday, 2 students from the Dillon High School were taken into custody after officials found 2 loaded firearms in their lockers. Unfortunately, Thursday, that snowball effect made its way to Idaho. I'm Megan Dorton is in the Channel 3 newsroom with more. Megan?
Thanks, John. On September 14th, the Kellogg Police Department received a report about a 10-year-old male who allegedly made threats to bring a weapon to his school, Pinehurst Elementary. The morning of September 15th, Kellogg Police made an appearance at Pinehurst Elementary where a safety plan was initiated by Principal Groves for the safety of students in the duration of the incident. Now, since this case does involve a juvenile, many details cannot be released, but what has been confirmed is that the child has been suspended and banned from the school and does not have access to the school or his classmates. This case is currently under an active investigation. The Kellogg Police Department, Pinehurst Elementary, and the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office are working to resolve the incident with the safety of the community in mind. Channel 3 will keep you updated as we learn more about the investigation. Reporting in the Channel 3 newsroom, I'm Megan Dorton.
Meg, such a sad story. Thanks so much, Megan. In local news tonight, the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office responded to Pinehurst for another threat. This all occurred on Saturday, September 16th at approximately 4 p.m. when the agency received a call about a male subject who allegedly threatened several subjects with a firearm at 605 Lewiston Avenue in Pinehurst. The subject and his family had a disagreement over personal property. After members from the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office, Pinehurst, and Osborne Police Department responded, a perimeter was set up and established around the residence for safety reasons until all information could be gathered and processed. After speaking to all involved parties, it was found no crime had been committed. But just 2 days later, at approximately 4:15, the Sheriff's Office responded to the same residence for a civil standby request for family members. In other words, they held fire to keep peace. Upon arrival at the residence, it was determined 67-year-old David Hill, the man who threatened several subjects just 2 days before, had passed away due to a single self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office Facebook page said, quote, "At no time from Saturday on was there any reason to believe Hill was a danger to himself or others." Hill had spoken to officers on different occasions since Saturday. Hill appeared to be fine and wanted to be left alone. Well, of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more information. You can like our Facebook page and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search Channel 3 News. You can also now contact the Channel 3 studio at 208-753-5315. That will send you right to the school. Just ask for Channel 3. In local news this evening, the Northern Pacific Depot in downtown Wallace has been under construction for a few weeks now. And according to the director of the depot, Shauna Hillman, the museum wrote a grant to the Inland Northwest Community Foundation, and that grant was matched by public funds.
$60,000.
That's right, $60,000 was granted to the depot for that new roof. And I asked Mrs. Hillman if they plan on doing anything else with that money.
No, it's a very big roof. There's a lot of square footage up there, you know.
Always Roofing out of Kellogg was the contractor, and Hillman said they've been very good to them.
When is it finished? Well, I said that to Scott this morning, and he said, I thought it would be done by now. So I think they're working hard to get it done real soon.
Well, the depot originally had cedar shingles, but due to new roofing codes and costs, they decided to put on architectural composite grade shingles, which in the long run will last longer than the cedar shingles. In local news tonight, the Mountain Valley Care and Rehabilitation Center in Kellogg is making some new changes. Our Morgan Powers is tracking this story tonight, and she asked what all changes will be made. Morgan, good evening.
John, good evening. As we know it by Mountain Valley and Rehabilitation Center, it will now be known as Mountain Valley of Cascadia. Cascadia, which is based out of Eagle, Idaho, just purchased Kindred at the first of this month, after they made the switch in operators. This last July, Mountain Valley made the decision to deprive all their skilled nursing faculty and sold them to Blue Mountain Management Capital for $700 million. Cascadia has obtained all of Kindred's faculties in Idaho. I sat down with Mary Ruth Butler, Executive Director at Mountain Valley, and she is most happy that there will be no real changes for the facility or the residents.
They're a relatively new healthcare organization in the state of Idaho. They're based out of Eagle, Idaho, which is just out of Boise. They became an organization in March of 2015, and they started with one skilled nursing facility. Since that time, they've gone up to about 5, opening a brand new one in the Boise area this month and another brand new one in the month of December. And then they will actually take over the 7 Kindred healthcare facilities in the state of Idaho. So at the end of all of this, starting the 1st of next year, they'll be the largest skilled nursing provider in the state of Idaho.
Butler said, quote, "We are excited to see the changes in how the facility operates and hope that the residents and their families do too." Mountain Valley of Cascadia is located at 601 West Cameron Avenue and can be reached at 208-784-1283. Reporting in the Channel 3 newsroom, I'm Morgan Powers.
Okay, Morgan, thanks very much. Did you know every minute someone takes their life? Did you know that 5,491 people between the ages of 15 and 21 take their lives every year? Did you know that Idaho ranked 5 in the top 10 states that have the highest suicide rate? Shoshone County has the 3rd highest rate among the whole state of Idaho. Those are just a few statistics that the S.A.V.E Coalition gave out in their last seminar held last Friday at the Hill Street Depot. For those of you who don't know what the S.A.V.E Coalition is, they're a group from Shoshone Medical Center who offers the Silver Valley education on suicide prevention, child abuse, and domestic violence. The group gives free seminars to anyone who is looking to educate themselves more on the very tragic subject. Andrea Garner, a risk quality and infection prevention manager at the Shoshone Medical Center, is a member of the coalition and takes this topic very seriously.
Well, we started out as it's just giving education towards suicide prevention and helping people who could possibly be in crisis, recognizing the signs and helping them, getting them help. It's also education to the community with child abuse, domestic violence, tragic events in our community, and education and getting the word out there on those things and where people can get help.
Garner talked about the steps of QPR suicide prevention. She says the first thing you should do if you think someone may be suicidal is ask the question.
Things that possibly they could be saying that they want to take their life, that they would be better off dead. Their family could possibly be better without them. Getting their affairs in order, possibly giving away things. If they've recently suffered something such as maybe the end of a relationship or a marriage, if they've lost a job, maybe they're losing a house, their home. If they maybe have suffered a tragic event, somebody close to them has taken their life, or a death or something along that line.
Well, if you know a group who is looking to listen to a free seminar, contact Toby Hoyam with the Shoshone Medical Center at 208-784-1221, and she'd be glad to set something up. Garner also mentioned their Walk for Suicide, which will be held on September 23rd, located at the Northern Pacific Depot in Wallace. Check-in will be held at 10:15 that morning, and you're asked to wear purple and turquoise for the 1/4 of a mile walk. And if you at home may be having suicidal thoughts, then please contact the North Idaho Crisis Center at 208-625-4800. They'll walk with you step by step through this very dark time. In state news, fall and winter are good times for waterfront owners considering plans for new docks or modifications to their existing docks to submit an encroachment permit application to the Idaho Department of Lands. The IDL regulates encroachments such as docks, riprap, and water lines on 61 navigable lakes in Idaho, including Priest Lake, Pend Oreille, Coeur d'Alene, and Payette Lake under the Idaho Lake Protection Act. Encroachment permits from IDL are required prior to building a new dock or changing the configuration. Submitting an encroachment permit application before the end of the year enables the owners to get their plans approved and contractors scheduled well before the spring and summer of the following year. Well, you've probably noticed the big cool down with tons of rain. Destiny Engel is over in the Channel 3 Weather Center with your full weather update. And Destiny, we've actually been seeing some snow.
Yes, John. There's snow on Lookout Pass this week, 4 inches at the base and 6 inches at the summit, and now there's snow up Silver Mountain, and here's an image on the top of Chair 2. Here's 2 of Silver Mountain's cameras. This was looking towards Kellogg Peak at the mountain house. Now, taking a look at your current U.S. surface map, you can see a ridge of low pressure moving into the inland northwest, which will cause temperatures to drop this week. Alright, now taking a look at your current U.S. temperature map, you can see up to 30 in Great Falls and 50 around the Wallace area. Now taking a look at your Doppler radar, you can see precipitation passing from the inland northwest to the southeast. Now taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we are supposed to see Saturday partly sunny with a high near 56, east wind around 5 miles per hour, becoming calm in the morning. Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 34, and Sunday mostly sunny with a high near 58. Sunday night mostly cloudy with a low around 39. Back to you, John.
All right, Destiny, thank you very much. In local news this evening, if you're an avid Judge Judy watcher, you probably saw the case on Tuesday, September 19th, about a woman suing Hallie Fry for missing a vet bill payment. Well, Fry is a Kellogg resident, and I got the chance to sit down and talk to her Tuesday afternoon. Hallie, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so first of all, why don't you give us a rundown of your case?
So what happened is in December 2016, Bear had a really bad puncture wound. We don't know what punctured him. We looked around the house, we looked around the fence, everything. Nothing we could find that would cause something. So we took him to a vet in Post Falls, and they diagnosed him wrong. They said he had a fractured elbow, which was not right. So we took him to the breeder's vet in Spokane, and it was a really bad puncture wound. So he had this arm swell up 3 times the size of this arm, and so we were like, okay, what's going on? So the vet said he had a record-breaking abscess in his arm, and so we got draining tubes, stitches, the whole 9 yards, and then 3 days later we went back for a checkup to get the draining tubes removed, and his skin ended up dying, so he had to get a hole the size of a softball put in his arm. And after it ended up 4 surgeries, and all the way from December to March, we had to go back once a week to Spokane to get his bandage change, which is $23 a bandage change. So from December to March, once a week, we went to get his freaking bandage changed. And then, so I was making payments. It racked up to $4,100. So we went to the breeder paid. Her name was Francine Smolkowski. She paid for everything up front, and I missed a payment because I quit Day Smith. I was working at Day Smith at the time, and so she decided to sue me. And so I got a letter in the mail. Well, a guy came to my boyfriend's house where I was living at the time, and he's like, you have court. So I looked at it and I'm like, that's stupid. And she sued me. So then Judge Judy, on May 3rd, I got a letter in the mail saying, from her producer, saying that she wants to help me with my case, want to do everything to get approved for the show. So I called her, talked to her, and then our case ended up getting approved, and then we got flown down to LA.
Okay, so, and with the case, what happened at the end? What was the verdict?
I obviously lost because, she paid for everything up front, and everyone knew. I told everyone that I knew I owed the money, so she basically, to go on the show, I had to lie.
Okay, so many people who watch this show say, who in the world would want to be humiliated on national television? So can you just explain to us what the process is to get on Judge Judy? Oh,
so basically they send you a letter in the mail, you call them, they ask you if you want to, you and the other person, or the suing or the suer, has to sign a contract. They send you something over email, and you have to sign it via email and send it back to them, and then so you both have to approve to get on Judge Judy, and then Judge, I don't know if it's Judge Judy who approves it, or if it's like people who are like, ooh, what'll get more ratings will approve it, but ours got approved because it was a stupid case.
Okay, and everything is paid for, the trip?
Right, the flight down to LA is paid for. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we got flown down to LA, put in a hotel. They paid off everything, all my debts, the $4,100, she paid it off. Bless Judge Judy, because I don't have $4,100 laying around.
No. So do you think, when you did this show, and do you think justice was served for Francine?
I guess so. I mean, I didn't have to pay it, so I don't really care.
Yeah, but you didn't have to pay it, and Judge
Right.
Judy did. So do you think justice has been served for what you did?
Yeah.
You didn't do?
Yeah, I mean, it was served. I mean, I knew I owed the money. Like, I'll admit it to anybody. I know I owed the money. But I think she totally went at it a wrong way. She could have got a hold of me or any of my relatives to get a hold of me. She just went all bat crazy and decided to sue me.
Okay, so we have to ask this question. A few of the Channel 3 members wrote these questions, and we want to know if Judge Judy, you know, she speaks her mind oftentimes and she comes across kind of mean. What is she really like?
Oh, the way she comes across is the way she is. There's no, like, that's not acting, that's Judge Judy. She's short. She's so short. Like, I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, she's a little short, little mean person.
All right, Holly, thanks so much. Well, Bear is doing very well at this time. He's now done with the weekly vet visits. In local news tonight, fire restrictions across the Coeur d'Alene Dispatch area have been rescinded. Agencies responsible for managing lands and providing wildland fire protection in the Coeur d'Alene Dispatch area have lifted fire restrictions for the entire area. With the cooler temperatures and recent rainfall, conditions no longer warrant extreme fire danger. However, the U.S. Forest Service is still reminding the public to be careful with their fires. Fire managers would like to thank everyone for their patience during fire restrictions and for the help preventing wildfires. Well, finally tonight, the good news. Her friends call her Amazing Grace, a tribute to the fact that she's 111 years old and is in stellar health. The secret to her longevity, she says, is quaffing a healthy slug of Scotch whiskey every night before bed.
A little drop of whiskey every night.
She's been doing it for 58 years, says her 79-year-old daughter, Deidre McCarthy. She swears by it. Grace Jones celebrated her birthday this weekend with back-to-back parties. McCarthy called her mother on Monday to see how she's doing, expecting the birthday girl to be a little tired. Miss Jones had never felt better, she said. In interviews, Jones always credits her long life to her daily consumption of that whiskey, something that tickles her daughter. McCarthy thinks her mother's outlook on life is what carries her through. McCarthy said, quote, "She doesn't worry. She always said worrying doesn't do you any good." Well, there you go, whiskey and no worrying. For all of us here at Channel 3 News, I'm John Webb. We'll have an updated broadcast next week. Until then, have a great night.